In the first episode, we designed the top of a custom CNC machine safety razor. In part 2, we designed the base component. In part 3, we will create the handle by utilizing in-context design methods, finish our drawing package, render out an image, and then get our part manufactured. Stay tuned to the end to see how you can win the safety razor and cover made by Jack Raymond Leather. Welcome to the Learn It channel, part 3 of designing an old school safety razor. We're going to create a new component this time, and we're going to rename this our handle. Now, this is going to be fun. We're going to create the handle off here. It's going to have a tapped hole. It's going to screw into our top portion, and as the top sandwiches down, everything's going to tighten up. It's going to hold the blade nice and good and nice. But let's focus on the handle right now. So let's create a sketch. We're going to create it on our XZ plane. Now we'd like to have this referenced to something. And to do that, I'm just going to press P to project, make sure that entities is selected, and I'm going to pick our hole. Let's go OK. Now I can hide everything else. There we go. And I've just got this. This is the top of our handle, and we can base everything off of this. It has a center point. We can just create a point here at the center. And there we go. But everything else we can design accordingly. Very good. Okay, so what's our top here? We have 5 mil, and we want to make it a little bit bigger than that. So let's go to, let's go to 8 mil. And if I want to center this, this is really easy. Let's go to midpoint actually. We're going to pick that line and just pick the midpoint. And we have this line snapping right to it. Very good. So now let's bring this on down, and we're only going to create half of it actually. So let's, there we go. Let's create a total length over here of, let's go 100 mils. Yeah, let's go 100 mils. There we go. That looks great. Okay, and this is going to be our center point. Now let's just create some angles over here. We're going to do something like this, and we want a nice heavy handle over here. It feels good when you're shaving to have some nice weight going on. Now let's create some diameters. This is going to be a round part. So if we go D for dimension, and we're going to pick our center line and then our outside. Now here's a really cool thing. Right click and go to diameter dimension. And we're going to do that right there. And what do you think? We're going to call this 14 mils. I think that's going to be a little bit too big. So let's go to 13. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. Okay. And now we're just going to add a couple other things. Let's add an angle over here. We'll go to 20 degrees. And then another dimension. Let's get rid of that. There we go. This can be 10. Very good. So what I'd like to do is have a knurled surface down here. So in order to specify a knurled surface in our drawing, we're going to have to create a little step here somehow. And the way we're going to do that is, I'm just going to create it. Let's just do these 3, the basic outline or basic shape of our knurl. And we're going to, first of all, create an angle. And we're going to say that this is 45 degrees. Now, instead of specifying that this other side is 45 degrees, I'm going to put that off like that. Instead of specifying this is 45, we can just say I want this and this to be perpendicular. And that says, in reality, it's 45 degrees from each other, or 90 degrees from each other. So very good. Now let's just pick that, and we're going to just say that this is going to be a tiny little reference right there. Very good. Just something again to reference in our drawing. But we've got our total length, which we're going to have to adjust. And very good. So now what I'd like to do is create this dimension from here to here. Let's say that this is going to be 15. And I actually don't want this to be 10. I'd like the reference here. Actually, no. I want, may as well put our well, this is going to have a rad right there. So I think what we can do is, well, let's just make this into a fillet. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to call this 13. We're just going to pick that dimension. Oh, we can't. 13 divided by 2. Okay, very, very, very good. Now this can still move up and down. Perfect. So I'm going to specify from there to there. I want this to be 10 mils, maybe even 5 mils. Yeah, there we go. And this one, we're going to go back to our 10. Perfect. And from here to the start of our knurl, this is going to be the same. We're going to go 5 mil right there. So that should be nice and even. Great. Now you're not going to see this actually with our 3D model. It's going to be very hard to see, but we can specify it in our dimension at least. So let's go now to Revolve. We're going to pick that profile and our axis is going to be right there. We've activated our handle. So now this is creating a handle within that. Let's go OK. Very cool. Look at that. That's looking really good. So let's just turn this brass by pressing A. We're going to drag and drop right there. Now to do a render, which we're going to do as well with this tutorial, is I am going to type in knurl, and we've got brass knurled. So let's change our face to brass knurl, and you can see nothing changes here. You can actually only see this in the render environment. But regardless, here we have it. This is looking really good. The only thing that we need to do is add our tapped hole right there. So let's hide our body. We're going to create a sketch right there, and we could create a point. Sometimes if we rely on the origin, it works most of the time, but if we're a little bit careless or sloppy, it could be off center, which we don't want. So I'm just going to place a point right there. And now we're going to go to hole, and we're going to say that this is a tapped hole of 4 mils. 4 mils is our size. There we go. And in order to see the length, we can turn on the top. And let's just go OK. And we can actually activate the top over here. And is it deep enough? Yes, it is. Very good. So with our tapped hole, we can make sure that this is, oh, sorry, that's our thread. We've got to go back to our handle. And what's the depth here? 14. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So this is looking amazing. I think everything is ready and good to go. That's going to look like a really, really cool razor. So, and we can turn on our razor over here, making sure it's active. Everything is looking really nice. Yeah, very good. Very, very good. Okay, so let's save it and let's create a drawing. So basically with our drawing, the only thing that we need to specify is the tap dimensions and the knurled surface. Everything else, they're going to use the step file to create it on a lathe or however they're going to do it. And they're going to work within the tolerances that are specified on PCBWay, which is really cool. So let's go back there. We are going to update everything. It's saying that we've got some things out of date, which is fine. We're going to quick add. And now, here we go. We're going to just change our title to our handle. Very cool. Finish properties. Now, create a base view. This one's going to be, we're going to go 2 to 1. Yeah, that's probably a little bit too big, eh? Let's go 1 to 1. There we go. And this one's going to be visible and hidden edges. We can just suppress our top razor and body. There we go. Projected view. I'm going to move this up to the top just like that. And we're going to create an ISO view, double click, make that shaded. Very good. So this is what we're saying with the knurled surface. Because we've created this little section on our 3D model that can specify that this is actually a knurled surface. If not, this would be very hard for the manufacturer to see what actual surfaces need to be knurled, and there would be no place to hold on to this part as well. So we want to make sure that they can actually chuck it in a chuck and machine it on a lathe and then knurl it with some space to spare. So anyways, now let's go to our note. We're just going to go right on top of our hole, and this should show There we go. So 3.332. I don't know if this is the actual hole size that they, or tap drill size, but we're just going to leave that there. That's fine. But we do have 14 millimeters down, which is great. Let's create another note on that surface, and we're going to say knurled finish right there. Perfect. Okay, let's just adjust these a little bit, and this is giving me a hard time. There we go. Let's go to the move command. Perfect. We're going to go fit. I think this all looks good. Oh, the drawing number is off, so we've got to fix this on the other drawing too. Let's go finish there. Safety razor. Oh, go back to drawing number 2. And our drawing here is going to be SR002. Amazing. Okay, so now we've got our handle. All of this is looking great. Let's save it. Let's do the exact same thing. We are going to export our drawing. And we don't want all sheets, we just want current. Okay, and we're going to call this our handle. Now we're going to go back to Safety Razor, handle, right click, export. Under a step file handle, we're going to export it to the desktop. Let's go back to PCBWay now. And we're going to drag and drop our step file right there. We're going to specify the quantity. Amazing. This is going to be brass again. Surface finish, bead blast. Technical drawing, we've created that handle right there. Amazing. Do your parts need to tap threads? Yes, we've uploaded a technical drawing, so that's good to go. Tolerance, no tight tolerances are needed. Very good. And other special requests, please note that there is a knurled surface. Use a standard knurling cutter. Okay. There we go. And we can now get a quote. So let's order that and see what it looks like when we assemble everything together. Now, as we're waiting for that to be sent to us, let's create a nice render of this real quick. So let's go to our render environment. And here we have it again. We can't see the knurl until we click on in canvas render. Once we do that, well, we can see this is a gigantic knurl right there. So let's go to stop. A for appearance. We're going to go to our knurl setting, edit, and our scale. Let's bring this down. I don't know. Let's try 20. Very good. And let's go close. We don't even have to close. We can go in canvas render. And now look at our knurled surface. Looks a lot better. Perfect. Let's go like that. And actually what we probably want, let's turn off in canvas render. So there's all sharp edges on here. And of course they're going to break those edges, but we don't want those edges broken within our 3D model. It really, it will affect our drawing. It will say our references will break and all sorts of different things. So we want to keep our broken edges to a minimum, but we want our render to have it. So how do we do that? Let's go, okay. Now, here's the fun thing. We're going to go back to our design and we're going to go create, derive. All right, so let's create a derived part based off of these 4. Let's go, okay. It's going to bring up the exact same thing, but within this derived model, we can make a bunch of changes to this and it won't affect our master model or a master design. So let's do this. I'm just going to save it. We can rename this our derived assembly. Very good. Now let's just have some fun. We're going to go, oh, not to our razor, to our top. And we are going to go to fillet. Let's just pick that face and that face. And we're going to add, I don't know, 0.02. Ooh, that's too much. 0.01. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. And we can probably do these inside edges as well. Maybe that's a little bit too big, 0.01. Now this is just telling me, what did we put for our breaking all sharp edges? Yeah, so this is way, way, way too big. So let's go back to our derived over here and our, oh, this is inches. That's why. Okay. So let's go to our document settings, change it from inches to millimeter. And let's go back here and we're going to call this 0.25 and see how big this is. Yeah, that's all right. 0.25, nice big broken edges there. Okay, let's go on to our body and do the exact same thing. We're going to pick our faces there, this edge right there. I don't think we can actually break this, can we? That might bring up an alarm. Well, let's just see 0.25. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's all right. Okay, and we'll get our other edges over here. Very cool. We don't have to worry too much about those other ones over there. Let's get these guys here. And this one. Okay. Perfect. Okay, and then off to our handle. And our handle as well can just have little fillets all throughout it. There we go, 0.25. Just to make it look, when we go to our render, it's going to look a lot nicer. So we can go save. Very good. Let's go to our render environment now. There we go. Let's go to, I think our knurl should be just the same. Yes, yes, excellent. Let's stop that now. Let's go to, if this is your first time, let's looking at renders, let's try and make this into a really nice render. So our environment library, we're going to go to photo booth. There we go. Yeah, and I kind of like this view right there. We're going to go to our aspect ratio. Let's make this square. So everything that's grayed out over here won't be rendered. It's just going to be within this frame. So there we go. I'd like to try and show a little bit of space here within that slot and this right here. Very good. It's going to have some nice shadows. I hope that the reflection is going to be nice on this side of the blade. If not, we can just go to position and change the rotation of our sunlight just a little bit. Oh, yeah, there we go. I think I'll just change that just a little bit on that angle. Now, depth of field. This is a really cool little feature. We're going to go depth of field. I would like to focus right there and blur of 0.2. We can change this in due time, but let's just go 0.2 there. Now, let's go close and in canvas render. Let's see kind of how it looks, and everything is going to be blended there. Yeah, I think that's looking really cool. Now there's a couple other things. This is too sharp right there, so I'm going to go back to our design environment. We're going to go to this, and we're going to just put these edges as having fillets on them as well. And remember, we can look through our part. We don't have to always orbit and everything. We can just grab them right there. Perfect. Perfect. Ooh. Oh, come. Oh, come. It's not working for us. All right. Okay, well, we don't have to worry too much about that. It's on the back. We don't have to worry about it showing up with our render, but let's go back to render, and I should have saved our view because I really like that view. So let's do that. I don't know, let's keep it right around there. And now with name views, we're just going to right click, new name view. We're going to call this our render 1 because we might have a few different renders right there. And now we're good to go. So again, with creating a new name view, I could move this way off into space. Just click on render 1 and it's going to bring it right back to where we want to go. We can just get a preview of what this is going to look like. Yeah, very cool. Excellent. Let's stop that and do an actual render. So here we're going to do a local render, and this is going to be, let's make it really big. So we're going to go to 4000 local render and see what the final image looks like. So would you like to see the final assembly? Here we go. So this project has been an absolute blast to create. I'm appreciative for PCBWay that made this project a reality. Thank you so much. Also, I know that many of you have benefited from this series as well. If you have, please comment one thing that you've learned. We would love to hear from you. Now, just so you know, I've been shaving with one of the 5 that I had manufactured, and I love it. It is by far the nicest safety razor I've ever used, and I'm not just saying that because I made it. It is heavy, which means I don't have to apply much pressure at all to shave. On a level of 1 to 10, 10 being the most aggressive, this is probably around a 7. This thing will last for a very long time. It's extremely easy to clean. I once purchased a high-quality German safety razor for around 120 Canadian dollars, and it fell apart after about 5 years, which was disappointing to say the least. Now, if you want something like this that is very well manufactured, and as we say in British Columbia, pretty skookum, I've decided to sell them. You should see it for sale from our store below. We also have clothing and stickers for sale too. So you stayed to the end because you'd like to win one of these safety razors and covers from Jack Raymond Leather for free. Here's how you get one. It's simple. First, make sure that you subscribed. And second, like and comment the following I love safety razors in this video tutorial and the other 2 tutorials in the series. Links to those other 2 tutorials can be found in the description. We will randomly select one user from each tutorial that follow the above directions and enter them into a final draw. The winner will be sent one of these safety razors, which has a value of approximately $160 US. No, that's not a typo. We only had 5 produced, and to produce just a handful of anything with CNC machinery isn't cheap. If we go into production with these, they will definitely be less expensive because we will order them in bulk. However, winning one of these will be part of our channel's history. We were going to announce the winner when we reach 10,000 subscribers. However, because of one of our recent tutorials being so successful, we now have well over 10,000 subscribers, so we are a little late with this announcement. The winner will be announced on our Patreon page. There, you can sign up for free and enjoy a bunch of free drawings to download to sharpen your CAD skills, and you'll also find the full details for this prize. Oh, and as a little bonus, we will also randomly select and enter anyone that comments I love safety razors on any other social media post of these safety razors into the draw as well. The more you comment, the more you have an opportunity to win. Hope you do win, and hope to see you at the next tutorial.